Okay, the second step of this exercise, what I want you to do is not dissimilar to what you did last week, and then I want you to get a very simple setup. I want you to find or get an apple that's a light colored apple, like a light green or a yellow apple. Put it under strong light. Get some kind of background color, simple background color, simple ground plane color underneath it. Strong light source that you can very clearly see lights versus shadows. So that's number one. So number two is we're going to block in very simply the painting just like we did last time. So we've got more values now, but that doesn't mean that our start is more complicated. We always start as simply as we can. And there are a lot of reasons for that. One is once you get things down very simply, so I've used I've got 6 or 7 spots of colored value on here. So I haven't taken a lot of time to get my painting in. And once it's there, what's nice is that I can kind of see the painting, it's in a very simplified state, but I can see it. So if I need to change the drawing or, move the apple to the left or to the right or make it smaller, or make it bigger or whatever, I haven't overly overcommitted to the drawing or anything else about the painting. I haven't put in a ton of value. So it's very easy to come back in a situation like that and change things. So you've got a nice degree of flexibility if you start really simple. So it doesn't matter how many values, how many colors you avail yourself of at the beginning. You start simply to get the painting down as simply as you can, so that you can get a good objective look at it, see how it's working before you then build on top of it. So here, I've chosen my number 2 for here. This is number 4 for here. And the way it worked out on the light, on this light apple, when I first put in the shadow, I chose something darker. I chose like a number 5, and it was just too heavy. It was too dark. So what you'll find with this expanded palette, or this expanded value range, is you can get a little bit, in terms of your averages that you see up there for each of these shapes, you can get a little bit closer to what you see in nature than you could with a 5 or obviously a 3-step scale. So as we add values, we're able to block in still simply, but a little bit closer to what we actually see in terms of the averages. So when I put in that dark 5-step, I noticed that was too heavy, and I had a number of values available to me that I could use instead. And so I came back and I put in something lighter that still allowed me to get the contrast with this number 2 value that I put in the light. You'll also notice that this value that I put in here, this number 4, is the same as this. So there's a little area here where this just runs right into that. And again, as I've said before, that's okay. Like, it's okay to lose an edge at this stage. It actually is beneficial in ways that I'll explain to you later. But if you've got 2 values coming up against one another and you lose a little bit of an outline, that's all right. It's actually a good thing at this stage. It keeps you from getting too object-oriented, from feeling like I've got to completely separate the apple from the background, from the ground plane. You want to see that everything is connected a little bit more at this stage. So similarly here, my ground plane value, so I had a darker cloth than in the background. So my dark cloth in the light was about the same value as this light cloth in the shadow. And so there's a little area here where those 2 values join. And again, that's fine. That's a good thing. All right. So, and what I've done here, again, is put down averages. What we're going to do in the next video is sort of take this further, and we're going to start adding value progressions, start building the form. But before we get to that, we've got to lay things out very simply, very flatly. Spend a few moments with this once you've got it down. Don't be overly satisfied with what you did the first time. Take a good look at it. Are those really the best averages? So don't look at the lightest light. Don't look at the darkest dark of an area, but what's its average? Now with the apple, you've got to it may seem really bright to you when you first put the light on it, especially if it's like a yellow apple. It'll seem really bright, and part of that will be because it is light, but also the highlight on it will make you think that it's lighter than it actually is. So you want to kind of mentally pluck off the highlight so that you kind of see what's underneath. So take the highlight out of the equation so that you can see that broader area of value and how that seems to work against this. And one thing that's helpful in doing that is when you're judging these values against one another, is look at where they come together. So look at this line along here. Judge this against this. Don't judge like how bright it is out here against, against over here. Look at the values where they come up against one another. So here to here, here to here, or here to here. Look right where they meet. Okay.